Now we'll find how considered he is, how calm he is, whether he's able to deal with this sort of pressure when he is on the back foot. So far he's dealt with it admirably. The question is whether that continues as he makes his way towards the finish. So far, the other nations have played totally into his hands. Belgium now chasing. This is what the Italians should have done. Instead of putting a rider up the road, they should have ridden like this. Ash Montgomery, you think Evenepoel can do it, but you're holding out for New Zealand to come back after that big crash. This is a really enticing prospect, this race. Intriguing all the time. Through the next little village, not far until we hit the climb. The thing is now, Evenepoel has got teammates all around him. They can drive their way into this climb and chase hard. The question is how much he's used up in terms of energy on the way to getting himself back. I reckon he was over 2 minutes behind at one point. These two riders still working well, Andrea Piccolo and Meyerhofer. Piccolo, we know he rides a good time trial, so he's quite happy being out here, keeping the pace as high as he possibly can. The gap's not really closing so far. But with strength in numbers, if Belgium put 2 or 3 riders on the front, they will chase this down. The Italians will try and disrupt things. Can these two riders stay away? 55, 52k an hour they were hitting there at that point, so there's certainly no holding back. The schedule is pretty hot at the front of this junior race. It's been flat out. We've had punctures, crashes, mechanicals, chasing going on, attacks. So far, this race has not disappointed. These two riders sharing the pace-making nicely. There's no one sitting on. They're doing as much as they can to try and stay away. Can they build the advantage any more than a minute? Rear wheel problem here for Skivild of Denmark, so a puncture for him. Amazing how many punctures this afternoon. Underway again. Sharmano mechanic working hard. He can't get his feet in the pedals, but he eventually gets going, sprinting hard. Right, Meyerhofer on the front. Just rode the Grand Prix della Lunigiana. So far this season, he won the Trofeo Comune Memorial Pietro Morelli. He won the points classification in Oberreistig Junior Rundfahrt, which is here in Austria. He won a stage of the Course de la Paix Juniors, which is a Nations Cup stage race. He won 2 stages then. And he also won the Grand Prix Bob Jungels, Meyerhofer. This rider's no slouch. Piccolo, a bronze medalist in the... already in these championships, a medalist in the championships, sitting on the wheel and not far here from the line. So Remco Evenepoel decides to go to the front again, and he is literally just riding away. No one is able to even respond, and this rider's just going to time trial his way across. The way he rides a bike is absolutely incredible. I've never seen anything like it from a junior. So Remco Evenepoel drags away another Italian rider. The rest of these riders are literally playing into this young Belgian's hands. They're just looking at each other. All you have to do is just ride in the wheel if you possibly can in a world championship, and just sit there and say to him, I'm not coming through, and just try and hold the wheel. It's absolutely incredible to see. He's already closed the gap another 10 seconds. And once he gets on the mountain, that's going to be it. He's going to ride his way across. Coming through the line then, passing the commentary box. They've got a couple of climbs to go. They race through. The advantage now for these 2 young riders. Let's see what it's going to be. But Remco Evenepoel is the rider who is trying to come across, and he has done the right thing. He's taken only 1 rider with him. Can the rest of the riders chase him down? It looks like they can. So coming up to the line then, is Evenepoel still on his own, or has he been chased down? All these riders know you cannot let this Belgian rider go on his own as they make their way up towards the completion of the run into the finish. We've got 2 laps of the Olympic circuit to go. The gap is going to be 56 seconds, and Evenepoel has been caught by the chasing group. On the line then. What an incredible race this is turning out to be. The women's race this morning was superb. This one's going to be just as good. Mainly because of a crash, but there you go. That's bike racing. That's what this is all about. You have to take the rough for the smooth. 56 seconds on a peloton led by Van Wilde, Van der Becken and Evenepoel.
I think it was prior to that goal that wrapped the arm of the Italian.
Onto the climb soon. And those of you who watch the junior women's race, you'll have seen it already. Those of you who haven't, this climb takes us from 580 metres above sea level at the start of it and takes us to 1,032 metres above sea level. It's 7.9 kilometres in length, and it takes us right up towards Lens and then through towards Eagles. fast descent off the top at around about 85, 90 k's an hour. Belgium trying to set this up for an attack on the climb by Remco Evenepoel. We haven't seen him climb yet, so we'll get the chance to see him. We've seen him time trial. We've seen him climb up that short mountain. We've not seen him go up a big rise like this when he's under pressure. But the Belgian team, they believe in him 100%. It's difficult not to. They are putting everything on the line for him this afternoon. 600 meters is the difference between the leaders and the peloton right now. Everyone must be wondering, what do we do? Through the feeds. Dario Pronsky, wearing number 46, just in front of us. Belgium now with the tempo on the front of this group, and this is the start of the climb. It's 7.9 kilometers of pain. The profile is pretty difficult, really hard climb. This is the Panchakoffel mountain. It hosted the Olympic events in the 1964 and 1976 Winter Olympics. There's your profile on the right. Ramps of pretty steep, 10% when you go through Lens, and right at the top of the Eagles it starts to level out, but the average gradient 5.7% is a proper mountain climb. So let's just take a look in here and we'll see who else is in this this group. The Belgian team are setting things up nicely. Italy are there. Great Britain have one rider sitting near the front on the wheel of Evenepoel. Everyone said when he accelerates there's not much you can do about it, but at some point human effort has to pay and the legs have to hurt. Mayhofer looking strong. Winner of Grand Prix Bob Jungels. Andrea Piccolo on the front wearing number 22. Still 43k to go. Just to go through for you who was in that chasing group. Let's run through the names for fans of all nations. Alexander Barmer of Switzerland, Daniel Protsky of Kazakhstan, Axel van der Turk of the Netherlands, Jonathan Bogley of Switzerland, Guillaume Motta of Portugal, Felix Engelhardt of Germany, Valentin Rateau of France, Kevin Vermerker of the United States of America, Daniel Turek of Belarus, Mason Holliman of Great Britain, Alessandro Fancello of Italy, Ben Tullett of Great Britain, Axel Beschott Hansen of Denmark, Alois Charin of France. 40 seconds now. Pelayo Sanchez of Spain, Casper van Uden of the Netherlands, Benaim Gourmet of Eritrea, Frederick Van Daal of Denmark, Ludwig Assim of Norway, Jakob Gessner of Germany, Juan Rendon of Colombia, Louis Askey of Great Britain, Michael Hessman of Germany, Sean Quinn of United States of America, Hugo Page of France, Karol Vacek of the Czech Republic, Ben Healy of Ireland, Antonio Tiberi of Italy, Sam Watson of Great Britain, Gabriel Benedetti of Italy and Marco Frigo of Italy, also Gleb Brusensky of Kazakhstan, Remco Evenepoel of Belgium, Arend van der Becken of Belgium and Ilan van Wilde of Belgium. That's the group as it stands. No other nations represented, no other riders represented. A total group chasing down these two riders of 35 on the climb. Aaron van der Becken has done his work. Belgium down to a couple of riders in here. They continue their way up the climb now. Meyerhofer looking okay on the wheel of Andrea Piccolo. Years of age, the German rider. Andrea Piccolo's had a good year. Bronze medalist in the championship so far. Trofeo Emilio Paganesi, he was the winner of back in August. He won the National Championships of Italy in the time trial. Took the mountains classification in Trofeo Centro Morbihan. Good season for him. He's a very good climber and a very good time trialist. Starting to suffer here, the Belarusian, and this is Daniel Turek. Gap really isn't changing too much. Still around 42 seconds. So these riders are climbing strongly. Looks like Axel van der Tuk of the Netherlands has been dropped, but these two riders don't seem too concerned at the moment. They're still riding a nice tempo. Belgium are going to leave the Evenepoel on his own soon. So this rider finding the pace too much. Axel van der Tuk out of the back of the group. Sitting on the back now is Valentin Retailleau. Just to give you an idea of other nationalities, Luke Plapp is 157 down for Australia. He was nearly in that group. I know many of you want to know about where the South African riders are as well. Well, Ricardo Broxham and Kian Leverage are now around 8 minutes down through the line, that time having been held up by the crash. Number 42 there, just in front, Felix Engelhardt. The work of the Belgian team is paying dividends. They've cut this gap by another 5 seconds. It's around 40 seconds now. The Eritrean rider, Benaim Girmay, looking really good this afternoon. A few of you tipped him. Don't forget, comments, questions, predictions at Ant McCrossan and at UCI_cycling. When does Remco Evenepoel get unleashed is the question. We're climbing up to Eagles and looks like another rider in difficulty. Number 84 there, Luis Aski. The Colombian rider just in front, number 111. That's Juan Rendon. Quite often up here on the mountain, the locals like to go out early and hike up here first thing in the morning. They like to see the sunrise. The mountain's often called the King Series because of an ancient legend according to which the peak of the mountain is in fact an evil king who was punished by being turned into stone. Well, ominously, a car's just gone by, which says that this gap's down at 30 seconds. Meyerhofer moves across, asks Piccolo to go through. This gap is dropping all the time, and now they're starting to worry, and they are looking round. Soon, Remco Evenepoel is going to get himself back to the front of the World Championships. The Belgian riders have ridden so well. Josh Lane of New Zealand around 4 minutes down at this moment in time for fans of New Zealand, and Sam Cook around 6 minutes down. There was a huge crash if you missed it, and it stopped a lot of riders. Evenepoel got himself back. Ben Healy of Ireland now suffering. So is the rider in the red and yellow, and that is Pelayo Sanchez. Ben Healy being dropped. 35 seconds now. Well, the Belgians are watching the Super Kid. He's back in the race. Has he got enough to win it? Number 7 in difficulty, Ludvig Asheim of Norway. Just cannot stay with the pace. Just in front of him is number 88, and that is Samuel Watson. It's getting much, much closer. Now the United States of America start to dish things up a bit. Remco Evenepoel is going to go with this. The Italians are immediately onto the wheel of Remco Evenepoel. He's looking for any opportunity he can to go on the attack and break this race up. Well, the reaction means that Evenepoel is on his own. He's got 30 seconds to cross. This is coming down very, very fast. The Italians desperately need to stay there. They have the strength in numbers. They can use that to their tactical advantage. I think that time gap might be a little bit diminished here. Well, no, it's not. They look around, and Evenepoel is going to be almost at the front. So the bottom of the climb, he was 50 seconds. At the top of the climb, he's going to be 10 seconds or so. Andrea Piccolo having a go at Meyerhofer, which, to be fair, is a little unfair. He's done a huge amount of work with the Italian. You can't get annoyed at your own tactics. He's done as much work as he possibly can. This gap is now coming down very fast indeed. It's going to be 15 seconds. So at the front of the race, we're going to end up with Piccolo and Meyerhofer. And Evenepoel is about to arrive at the front of the race, having crashed and lost over 2 minutes, well over 2 minutes. Evenepoel is going to try and go past the break and leave maybe 3 or 4 riders at the front before the top. What a ride by this Belgian. Well, hardly anyone can stay with him. He's trying to do the damage before the top. Have you ever seen anything like this? He is literally riding the entire junior peloton off his wheel. He has crossed the gap on his own, and now he is riding away. Well, only 3 riders left now at the front of this race. And the Italians have to come back, which is what they're doing. So we're going to end up with 5 leaders. 5 leaders. Evenepoel of Belgium, Benedetti of Italy, Piccolo of Italy, Mayhofer of Germany, and Vácek of the Czech Republic. Vácek is a name on many people's lips and many people's predictions for this championship. But Remco Evenepoel has crossed. He was stood on the side of the road for a wheel change. When he got back on his bike, he was at least 2 minutes down from the front of the race. Piccolo was at the front, and he has literally ridden across with the help from time to time of his teammates, but mainly on his own. Well, looks like Italy are about to lose another rider. I have to say the Italian tactics today have been pretty terrible. Benedetti now being dropped, having made the front group. There are 4 leaders: Evenepoel, Piccolo, Mayhofer and Vácek. And Evenepoel saying, work with me then. The answer should be no way. I think Benedetti is going to come back. Piccolo is going to do no work. He wants to have another rider there. He knows that he has to get another Italian in this front group. Nearly at the top of the climb now. There's still a big group of riders just behind. You can see them just in the distance. 1K now to the top, and Evenepoel is going to attack everybody. Vácek goes with him. Here he goes with another big attack, and Vácek is matching him, pedal rev for pedal rev. And Mayhofer goes with it as well. Evenepoel has got to try and attack at this point in the climb. The Italians now haven't got anyone in the front group. They had the strength in numbers when the Belgian wonder kid was 2 minutes behind. They should have ridden a team time trial and just got rid of him. And instead they sent a rider up the road and looked around at everyone else. Now they're going to end up with 2 riders trying to chase. And then a further couple of their riders just behind. They were on the front foot with a massive advantage, and now they're firmly on the back foot. Should come together on the descent though. 2 American riders are still there. Those 2 American riders, 26 and 29, Sean Quinn and Kevin Van Marke, I think. What a race this is turning out to be. 37 kilometers to go. Another British rider coming through. One Kazakhstan rider, another Italian. Well, these riders have got to come back up this mountain one more time. The Italians are on the chase. Evenepoel is just riding strongly still on the front. No wonder Quick-Step have signed him. Front of the race, 37 kilometres to go. Varcek, Meyerhofer and Evenepoel of Belgium. The two Italians, Piccolo Benedetti, now in a 2-up team time trial to come back to the front. Never give in, but they've really got to have a word and work out what they're going to do. Onto the descent now, and this is where we're going to hit around 80 k's an hour as we go downhill. Time for a rest, time for a drink, time to take a gel if you can. Meyerhofer on the back of the group. Evenepoel setting the pace, at least here the riders should be able to stay with him. So the race situation as we go downhill, and Evenepoel is now leaving behind his breakaway companions, even going downhill, as he looks around to see Varcek trying to chase him down. 15 seconds to the two Italians, and then a group around 20 seconds back with Vandal of Norway also in the group, Fancelli of Italy in the group, Tiberi of Italy, Quinn of the United States of America, Vermaak of United States of America, and also Barmer of Switzerland. So many warnings today for camera bikes I'm hearing on Radio Tour. The commissars are being very careful to try and ensure that there is no chasing. This is a lone Italian, looking around to see where everyone is. So many times today we've talked about lone Italians. Well, Varcek now being left behind on the descent. Has he cramped up or something? Talk to me. He doesn't look too good. Is this him? Varcek. What's happened to Varcek on this descent? He was in the front group and now he's being left behind. Looks like Varcek has cramped up. Oh, crash on the descent. Couple of riders hitting the deck there. Number 16, Van Wilde. That's a very hard crash. He's very lucky, judging by where he crashed. Ilan Van Wilde. When we came down this descent yesterday, I said, you make one tiny mistake on this descent. Oh, he was very, very lucky. Van Wilde hitting the padding, luckily, at the side of the road. Two riders now in the lead. What happened to Varcek? Well, Van Wilde will get some medical attention. Luckily, most of him hit the padding, a little bit didn't. The Danish rider also crashing. Hasselbach, Scott Hansen. Luckily, the organisers putting the padding on that corner. You make one little touch wrong, and then suddenly you have a major problem on that descent. So I do not know what happened to Varcek. It looked to me like he cramped up on the descent. And then there were two. Well, judging by this race and the way that Meyerhofer rode the climb the time before, I wouldn't take too many bets on Evenepoel just riding away on this mountain. I hope Quick-Step have got plenty of bikes lined up for him, because he absolutely destroys his bike. Literally thrashes it. Well, this young rider was the captain of Anderlecht. Here is Varcek, who's been caught by the Italian rider and is now trying to come back. I do not know what happened. Narrow section as we go back into Innsbruck. These riders are moving a lot slower than the two riders in front. Suddenly the race can get you. There hasn't really been an awful lot of time to eat or drink. They've been flat out since the start. It's now 5:10 in the afternoon. They've still got 30k to go, 8k of it up that huge climb. 35 seconds is now the advantage. Well, Varcek was in a winning position. Race situation then, Evenepoel and Meyerhofer. A group behind them of 20-odd seconds. Varcek and Piccolo, and then behind them there's another group of chasers, but what you didn't want to let happen was that Evenepoel would go on the attack like this. One rider's managed to stay with him, and the German rider Meyerhofer needs to hope that Evenepoel just cracks on the mountain and that something happens, because right now this young kid from Belgium has destroyed the entire field, and at one point he was behind the entire field. Through the roads. This morning we saw a women's junior race which was stunning. This race is literally, you're watching with your mouth wide open. I have to keep talking, but at moments here, what I'm seeing is utterly something I've never seen before. Quick-Step and Sky were both after this rider. Quick-Step got him, and now you can see why. Meyerhofer is sprinting just to stay in the wheel of the Belgian, who is giving him a proper going over. Look at this. Just has to stay with him. Cadence is so high. Over the little climb now, descent. Meyerhofer, if I was him, I'd say absolutely no way, mate. You do the work, I'm going to sit here. If you want to win, you carry on riding like this, because Meyerhofer has to play the game. He has to look, he has to shake his head. He has to risk losing to win. He has to do something to let these two riders come back or a group behind. He has to disrupt Evenepoel, he doesn't want to ride at all. He just wants to sit there, use the remote control and say, you're the strongest rider in the world, so you carry on riding. Whether he's got the will to do that is a different matter. And the group behind with at least one rider from the USA in it, 2 riders from the USA, so Vermark and Quinn are still there in a shout for a medal. Tibera of Italy goes through. The Italians still all looking around at each other. 50 seconds now is the gap, 5-0. Evenepoel going through the corners with, I mean, he really does look like he's a pro in the World Tour. Flicks his elbow. Well done, my offer. No, I'm not coming through. Varcek must be cramping. I mean, he literally is on his last legs here. So Evenepoel's just going to ride, and it's basically a 26-kilometer time trial to the finish. Not far now until they reach the line for the last time and get the bell. And the Italians yet again go on the attack with a couple of riders. When I see Marco Vello and the rest of the Italian coaches tonight, we'll have a little chat and find out what they think about how they rode this race. Well, they're only young, they've got to learn, but they tried. But they put themselves on the back foot when there was no need for it. So those of you just joining us, now, this is what happened. As we race towards the first big climb of the day, there was a big crash. Evenepoel and many riders were left behind. Evenepoel was 2 minutes or so behind a big group at the front which contained 4 Italian riders, a couple of Americans. They were in the ascendancy as far as numbers was concerned. Evenepoel basically rode the climb, crossed to the front, eventually caught the leaders on the big mountain and has ridden away. Now the race situation is Evenepoel and Meyerhofer at the front of the race, 50 seconds to a group of 2. Those 2 riders are Benedetti and Tiberi of Italy, and then around about 10-15 seconds behind that, the big group of riders. Coming up to the line then, this time they'll get the bell. Meyerhofer has got to put himself through as much pain as possible. This young German rider, though, has won the Grand Prix Bob Jungels. He's no slouch. He's a very, very good bike rider. He needs to fuel. He needs to eat. He needs to drink. He needs to just do anything he can to stay with the Belgian. But stay with this. You're seeing the first chance in a World Championship of the Wonder Kid, Le Petit Cannibal, the new Mercs as far as the Belgians are concerned. Remco Evenepoel, the hype that has been going on for the last 12 months is being seen here as not hype. This young kid makes you just sit and go, how does he do it? Okay, the Italians now in a team time trial. The gap is going to be around 50 seconds. Now they have to ride. The gap is 57 seconds to Tiberi and Benedetti. Full gas now required for the Italians to go back to the front. Then a bit of a dishevelled group who are suffering badly. "55 seconds that time. 1 lap to go. A few conversations going on in that group. The group of riders at 117, Alois Charin of France, Alessandro Fencello of Italy, Sean Quinn of United States of America, Andrea Piccolo of Italy, Kevin Vermerke of the United States of America, Karol Vacek of the Czech Republic, Fredrik van Daal of Denmark, Benaim Gourmet of Eritrea, and Alexander Barmer of Switzerland. That's the group of chasers at 117. Benedetti and Tiberi of Italy at 55, and Evenepoel and Meyerhofer, the 2 leaders. Can they find some speed on the mountain? This group really behind are just having to work together. That's all they can do. Meyerhofer's doing everything he can to just stay there, doing exactly the right thing. Question is whether he's got the legs to attack this rider from Belgium. "21.5 kilometers to go." As we head towards the climb, let's just run through Remco Evenepoel's season. Started in February, Kuurne-Brussels-Kuurne, won that. Bearing in mind that he started racing April last year. Didn't finish the Nokere course, came back in March and won the Guido Rebroek Classic. Was 11th in Ghent-Wevelgem. Then he didn't finish Paris-Roubaix. Then he won the individual time trial championships of Belgium. He went to Course de la Paix Juniors. He won 2 stages in the general classification as well as the points and the mountains classification. He then went to Morban in May. He won stage 1. He won the overall and the points classification. He then won the Belgian Road Race Championships. He went to the Grand Prix General Patton, which is a 2-stage race. He won both the stages, the general classification, the points and the mountains. He won the individual time trial and the European road race at the European Championships. He then went to a race in Belgium at Orbel-Thimster. He only came second in the first 2 stages. Then he won the third and took the general classification, the points and the mountains. Then he went to the Giro del Lunigiana. He lost the individual time trial on day number 1 where he finished second. He won the next 2 stages, finished third on the third and won the 4th stage, the general classification, the points and the mountains. Came here to the World Championships, won the individual time trial, and now he's looking set to try and win the road race. That's the season of Remco Evenepoel. Focus now from the young Belgian. Not far to the climb. What Mayov has got to try and do here is just sit, put himself through more pain than he's ever been through, try and stay with Evenepoel to the top of the climb and beat him in the sprint. I don't know whether he's got it in the legs to do that. Let's wait and see. Those shoulders are hunched. These two Italians are 1:14 behind. They're losing time rather than gaining it. They're going for a bronze medal. And then this group of riders with the American duo in here. And there's your answer. Game over. Mayov hasn't got it. Remco Evenepoel has cracked him already, and we're on the lower slopes of the mountain. Game over, and this race is going to be a procession. Remco Evenepoel is going away. 19.5 kilometers to go, and Mayov, his shoulders told the story. He had nothing left in the legs. The attack of the Petit Cannibal, the attack of the wonder kid from Belgium. He is going clear. Well, in recent years, it's all been about Peter Sagan. Mayov had just had nothing, and all he did was pedal. He's already opened up 10 seconds. The last few years, it's been about Peter Sagan, about how good he is. This kid is even better. Look at him go. Last year, everyone talked about Tom Pidcock as the Petit Sagan. Well, is this potentially the best bike rider we've ever seen? Look at the way he's riding up this mountain. In the junior time trial, he won the world title, and he would have finished fourth in the under-23s on restricted gears. He's already 15 seconds ahead. Now the two Italians are going for the silver medal. They need to keep riding because Mayov, unfortunately, is cracked, and it's going to be a long, painful ride to the top of the mountain. Evenepoel hasn't looked round. He's just leaving everyone behind. He's riding like a man possessed, but that's how he rides a bike race. Little bit of a graze on his arm from that crash earlier on. Well, when he crashed, I said, let's see whether he deals with it, whether he's able to compose himself. Looks around for the first time. The answer is he kind of lost it a little bit for a moment until he got a wheel. And then, since then, he's done nothing but just chase. Never, ever has he believed other than he would come back to the front. Never has he thought, right, that's it, game over. He literally focused on the job in hand, rode his way across group to group, got back to his teammates, asked them to ride, got them to ride, rode to the front, attacked everybody. Now he's clear. This is jaw-dropping, this performance. Now he puts it on the big ring on the climb. Well, he said, I don't want to be called the new Eddie Merckx. I'm just me. I want to be me. Well, they can't help but compare in Belgium. Just look at the way he rides. 5k to go to the top of the mountain. And he's in the big ring. It's just workmanlike. It's pure power. Italians working together to try and get the silver and bronze. 24 seconds now to the next, 24 seconds to the chaser. So Meyerhofer has lost it, 140 to the Italian riders. Meyerhofer's not losing too much time. He's doing okay so far. Meyerhofer trying to limit his losses. He's an experienced junior. He knows what he needs to do. Is he just able to keep things going? Can he hold on to take a medal? 140 now. They've got 120 to cross on this mountain. Behind them, anything can happen. This is the next chase on the road. We don't know how far back they are. But two Americans in here looking for a medal. One Swiss rider in Barmer. He's the rider in the second place. And also in here is one French rider. Looks around again. 30 seconds he's already opened. Decides to have a little look at what's going on. Pretty big cowbell. 35 seconds for Remco Evenepoel. He has got a race radio in today, actually, looking at his right shoulder. Or has he? Four kilometres to the top. He's kicking off these kilometres pretty fast, wearing number 13. It looked unlucky for a moment, but it's not unlucky now. Meyerhofer's doing okay. He's not losing time to the chasers. .8 kilometres to go to the end of this Junior World Championship. Meyerhofer's lost 41 seconds to the young Belgian. 2 minutes to these Italians who are climbing their way up to Eagles at the top of this mountain, the site of the Olympic Games on two different occasions. 2 minutes now to the chasers. Jumper before he turned to cycling. This young rider was a footballer. He played for the Belgian football team. He also played for Anderlecht. Got injured, decided he wanted to play a different sport, so he turned his attention to cycling, and so far he hasn't put a foot wrong. Chased by two of the top teams in the world, the Wolfpack and Team Sky. He signed for the Wolfpack, stays in a Belgian squad. They come up to him now to give him a little bit of advice, asking how he's doing. 48 seconds is the answer. The team director just chatting to him. Just giving him some encouragement. I don't think he really needs to be told, come on. He's absolutely flying. But he has to focus. He has to just keep believing. Ryan Travis, you're absolutely right. This kid looks amazing on a bike. It's just power, but he looks so good. The position is absolutely nailed. The pedaling style is metronomic. The power he puts through the pedals is absolutely eye-watering. When you follow him in the time trial, it's just incredible what he does.